Well, good morning, dear students. In last class, you had understood a play, Sunny Morning, by my dear colleague Dr. Prabhakar Patil. So, I have come back again to teach you one more poem, that is When You Are Old. It is a poem written by W.B. Yeats. He is William Butler Yeats, who was an Irish poet and a playwright, who was the witness of revolutionary politics in Ireland, and he was awarded Nobel Prize for the literature in the year of 1923. So, When You Are Old is a poem. It is about love, emotions, and celebrations of life. So, it depicts the regret of the person who loses someone, the person who lost the dear one. So, here the person is none other than poet himself, is William Butler Yeats. This poem, When You Are Old, addresses a lady. The name of the lady is Maud Gonne. Maud Gonne is the lady. She is an extraordinarily beautiful lady, and she was the admirer of writer himself, and she was admirer of W.B. Yeats and his writing. And at the same time, she was not only beautiful, and she was outspoken and a bold lady that made poet to fall in love with her. This poem has 3 stanzas, whereas first 2 stanzas express the romantic and positive loss of the poet's his loved one. But the 3rd stanza here drastically changes the tone of poet, which expresses the regret of the poet. So, this poem, When You Are Old, is written in the year of 1892, whereas W.B. Yeats was just 27-year-old. So, meanwhile, what happened? W.B. Yeats, who come across a lady called Maud Gonne, and he proposed her not only once, twice and thrice he proposed her, but unfortunately the lady Maud Gonne rejected the suit of poet here. She refused the proposal of W.B. Yeats poet. And W.B. Yeats, so here he tried to express the difference between the love and infatuation. The word love and infatuation. Love and infatuation. What is love? Love is a set of emotion or feelings, behavior associated is called love, whereas infatuation is a set of a strong affection or feeling or a short-lived passion for someone or something. So, this is called infatuation. So, here we say it as prema or preeti in Kannada. Prema or preeti, but infatuation is called vyamoha. Whereas, this love is different from infatuation, whereas infatuation changes according to time, whereas love remains eternal. So, where W.B. Yeats feels this, and in pre-reading activity they asked us to know what is the difference between love and infatuation. Love is something so pure, a feeling, a belief, emotion associated with the person, which is eternal. But whereas infatuation has a short time of span. Infatuation is again a strong affection, a short-lived passion about someone or something. Whereas W.B. Yeats finds this difference, love and infatuation. So, Of course, love, the word love has been defined differently from person to person, and the perception about love is changes when we grow old. According to our age, we have our own opinion, definitions, view about love. So here, 16th century's greatest dramatist William Shakespeare also tells about love, that love is what? Love is heavy and light, dark and bright, cold and hot, sick and healthy, sleep and awake. It is everything except what it is. So what Shakespeare mean here? Now what does he mean by love? So love, he says that it is everything. It is heavy and light, dark and bright, cold and hot, sleep and awake, sick and healthy. It is everything except what it is. We are trying to define love, but we don't know actually what love is. He means to say. So that it is one of the complex feelings of the person, his emotions, his beliefs associated with someone or something is called love. Whereas infatuation is something different from love. So this poem, as I said that, only 12 lines. So at the age of 27, poet wrote this poem, and he is addressing, he used tenses here like future, present and past tense. Beautifully he has woven the time here, time frame is there. So when you see this poem, when you are old, it expresses a poet's regretness, his regret towards Maud Gonne. And in order to make her realize the importance of the love which is true, the sincere love of poets towards Maud Gonne. So when you see the image which is given in the textbook, that the lady which is already old, she is sitting on the chair by the fire, besides fire, glowing fire, and the portrait, the image of the lady is reflecting the sorrow and her, the feeling of lost something in her younger age, in her youthful age, in youth days, and that this poem, that image expresses here. So let me explain you the poem When You Are Old. The poem begins in a future tense, that when you are old, grey and full of sleep. So here, when you are, you means here none other than, as I said, that she is Maud Gonne, one of the extraordinarily beautiful lady, and at the same time outspoken, and she was very bold, and poet is addressing her. When you are old, obviously, when you are old, this old makes us to realize the truth of life, that one has to grow old. So it is inevitable. When you are old, this sentence, poem begins that when you are old and grey and full of sleep. So look at the sentence, grey and full of sleep. What is grey? Grey means the air of lady, the air of the lady, grey. When she becomes old, obviously what happens? Her hair turns into grey. That is the sign of old age, that she is day by day becoming old, and very soon her life is going to be ended. So this is the sign. So when you are old and grey, full of sleep, what happens when you have, just imagine a person who is old is no more strong and healthy, and always looks sleepy more, tiredness, a kind of doze, a kind of drowsiness. You find here, when someone becomes old, so when you are old and grey, full of sleep, what happens? Eyes full of sleep, looks so tired, not so active, inactive, full of sleep, and nodding by the fire. Next he says that nodding by the fire, movement of head, movement, not stable, which is having continuous movement, nodding by the fire. So nodding by the fire here, second line, first line begins in future tense, that when you are old and grey, full of sleep. Here poet is addressing the lady whom he truly loved, but she rejected him, she refused his proposal, so that in that regret he wrote this poem, when you are old and grey, full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, sitting by the fire, besides the fire, glowing fire. We say that in Western countries we come across fireplaces where they sit in front of that to just to escape, just to comfort themselves from the pretty cold, so that there was a fireplace, nodding by the fire, take down this book. Look at this sentence, take down this book. This book means the book, it is one of the book which he is writing about, his own writing about that lady. For that lady, take down this book. Again this sentence is in present tense, this book. At the time when he was 27 year old, then he was, at the time he was writing that book, take down this book. This book means nothing but the memories, or it's a piece of writing. So where is his own writing towards Maudgon, about Maudgon. Take down this book. So first sentence, if you see, it is in simple, past tense, future tense. But if you see second sentence, so nodding by the fire, take down this book, the book which he was writing at the time, and slowly read and dream of soft look. Look at this, how he is, explaining, he is expressing, describing the lady that she had soft look. And read, and slowly read. Read this book, the book which is full of memories, which is written by poet to his beloved one. She is Maudgon, and he is asking her to read this book slowly. Read this book slowly and dream of soft look. The lady, the person who he has mentioned here is Maudgon. She has very, soft look. Soft look. Your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. So here, fourth line, your eyes had soft look, and of their shadows deep. So shadows deep. Her eyes had shadows deep. So in first stanza, he asks Maudgon, he asks his beloved to take the book of memories, to take the book of poet and read it slowly, which reminds you, and at the time your eyes were so soft. He asks her to read the book of memory, and next this is he is expressing positively. So these four lines are expressing positiveness. Of course he lost his love, but still he has hope and positiveness there. Next, how many loved your moments of glad grace. Next you see, how many. Here not only poet was in love with Maudgon, and many were there. Not W.B. Yeats alone loved her, but how many loved your moments of glad grace. If you see, glad grace means nothing but physical beauty. Physical beauty of the lady. So, glad grace. So, usually what he says, how many loved your moments of glad grace. So they loved your outer beauty, physical appearance, not that they loved your inner soul or pilgrim soul, which is eternal. And he says that he truly loved. He had genuine love, a sincere love towards Mordgon, but others, they simply loved your moments of glad grace. They might not have loved your sorrow, your sadness, your ugly, but they loved only your moments of glad grace, means your physical beauty, outer appearance, your comforts. But they did not love your sorrow, your sadness, moments of sads, but they loved your moments of glad grace. Again he says, and loved your beauty with love false or true. Next sentence you see, and they loved your beauty with love false or true. Who knows? Whether they were pretending that they were truly loving you, but who knows whether their love was false or true, but still they pretend to love you. And loved your beauty with love false or true. See, look at here, they loved only the beauty of Mordgon, beauty of the lady. They did not love her ugliness, her other problems, her sadness, her sorrows. They did not love, only they loved the beauty of Mordgon, and loved your beauty with love false or true. Who knows that they loved truly, or whether their love was false, but still they loved you, but you were attracted by them. Mordgon, you were attracted by the others who were only loving your moments of glad graces, and they only loved your beauty, outer appearance, but you were attracted by them. But you completely rejected my suit, my sincere, genuine love for you. You rejected it. And therefore, again he says that, but one man loved. Next sentence you see, but one man. This one man is different from others. How many? One man is different from many here. So he completely stands differently from many who loved her. As he said that many loved your moments of glad grace, but remember that one man loved the pilgrim soul in you. This pilgrim soul means nothing but eternal. Eternal soul, or pilgrim soul. Not necessarily your glad grace, not necessarily your beauty, and at the same time he loved your pilgrim soul, the soul which is having a quest of searching meaning in life. The searching soul, the eternal soul, that man loved. One man here is none other than W.B. Yeats. He says that there was a man who truly loved you. You would have realized the sincere love and importance of him is none other than W.B. Yeats, poet here, speaker here, but she did not realize it. She didn't, respond it. And he says that, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and he loved the sorrow of he loved the sorrows of your changing face. Sorrow of your changing face is completely different from moments of glad grace. Opposite. Whereas there were many who loved your moments of glad grace, but there was only one man who loved your pilgrim soul in you, and at the same time he truly loved your sorrow of changing faces. Here, sorrows of your changing faces means what? It means here, sorrow of changing faces means nothing but the lady day by day grows old and she loses her beauty, and she will get shrunk, that completely goes far away. What happens? Sorrow of your changing faces. And this changing face, the beauty of Mordgan will not remain same. When time goes, when time passes, when you day by day become old, when you grow old, what happens? Your sorrow of your changing face. I not only loved your moments of glad grace, I not only loved your beauty, at the same time, I loved the sorrow of your changing faces, whereas many of them did not do that. Whereas others only loved your moments of glad grace, but I truly loved the sorrows of your changing face. Where then you start looking so differently. In your young age, in your youthful days, you were so beautiful, you were extraordinary beautiful. But when the time passed, when you become old, not only I was ready to love your moments of glad grace, but remember, I loved your sorrows of your changing face. And loved here, he means, but one man is nothing but W.B. Yeats, he loved sorrows of your changing faces. The lady will not remain same. What happens? Changing sorrows. These sorrows of your changing face. Beauty is not permanent. Your feelings. I loved those sorrows of your changing face. Even then you appeared differently. I not only want to take part in your moments of glad grace, at the same time I wanted to take part in your sorrows of changing faces. I loved your sorrow, your sadness, your unhappiness. I would like to take part in your melancholy everywhere, sorrows of your changing face. I loved this sorrow of your changing faces. Sorrow of changing faces means nothing but here, the youth and beauty of lady will not remain same. It changes. When she grows old, it changes, and at the same time what happens? She will get shrunk. And that moment, that also I loved. And this man who is different from many, is only one man who is different from many. Many loved many loved the moments of glad grace, but whereas poet loved her pilgrim soul, and at the same time he loved sorrow of changing face. So he loved her changing face, and he was not only loving her youth, her beauty, and at the same time he was ready to love the sorrow of her changing face. Means whereas she started looking differently when time passed, when she became old at that time. So these two stanzas express the poet's romance, at the same time it expresses positiveness. And whereas he lost his beloved one, but this is third stanza, last stanza. In this stanza, the tone of poets completely drastically changes, and here W.B. Yeats expresses his regretness, his regret. And next sentence, next stanza, and bending down beside glowing bars. When you completely become old and nodding by the fire, hold this book, take this book, the book which has full of memories, which is written by poet himself, and he is asking her that bending down beside a glowing bar. She cannot sit on the chair steadily. She has to bend slightly. Imagine that how old people will be. They cannot, they will be not, stiff, flexible, they have to bend slightly. Physically they will be not strong enough. So at that time, bending down beside glowing bars. As I said that there will be fireplaces, that beside, bending down beside, exactly next to glowing bars, where bars, you have seen the fireplaces will be there, bars. In that beside this, beside glowing bars, murmur a little sadly. Talk to yourself, murmur. Murmuring means what? Speaking oneself, alone, speaking alone, silently. So, murmur a little sadly, how love fled. Now, at that time, what happened? Poet is trying to make her realize that she has committed a big mistake by rejecting the suit, by rejecting a sincere love of poet. And he is asking her, take this book, then and bending down beside glowing bars, sit beside glowing bars and murmur a little sadly. Murmur is not the person who speaks. Murmur means person who speaks himself. That will be not heard by beside person. Murmuring one. Murmur a little sadly, not gladly. Obviously, that is sad because she has done a big mistake. And she had committed a big mistake by rejecting a sincere love of poet here. And he asks her, murmur a little sadly, how love fled. So, flies V2. Fly means fled. How love fled. Where? And paced upon the mountains overhead. Paced means movement. Moved. Murmur a little sadly, and how love fled. How love fled, paced upon the mountains overhead. So here, paced means moved. Had moved. Paced upon the mountains overhead, on top of the mountains, somewhere which you cannot see. That it has moved. Paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Look at this last sentence. And hid his face amid a crowds of stars. Hid his face. So here, paced means moved upon the mountains overhead. The mountains overhead means far away. It's just gone, it has gone far away from you. And this line you see, paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. It conveys two meanings. That one is that it has gone far away where she cannot get it back again, the love of poet, and at the same time, poet he himself is no more. Poet died then. Hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Amid means middle. Middle of the crowd of stars, somewhere it hid his face, you cannot get it back. So how beautifully he explains, you see, and paced means moved upon the mountains overhead, somewhere which you cannot meet it, which you cannot get it. It has gone far away from you. And again, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Hid his face. Hid his face. The face which you cannot see. Hid himself. The face hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Crowd of stars means beyond, where you cannot even see it. So in this last line he used here personification and hid his face. So his means what here? Love. So love is a word, it is an abstract idea actually. It is an abstract noun. Love means abstract noun. It is an idea, abstract noun, a feeling, an emotion. So here this is neutral gender. Love is actually, it is a neutral gender, but he says that love is his. So what happens? He used here, he compared love with his. Hid his. His means nothing but here love. So actually love is a neutral gender. It's an abstract noun, but he says that his face amid a crowd of stars. What he mean? So he used here personification, a figure of speech. Whereas a non-living thing, an abstract idea is compared with living being is called personification. As you know that personification is a figure of speech where a non-living thing, an abstract idea is said as or it is compared to living being is called personification. Here poet used that paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars, in the middle of stars, somewhere which you cannot again see, which you cannot get it, which you cannot meet it. Somewhere it hid itself, and here he used personification by saying that hid his face amid a crowd of stars in the middle of the class. So here this is a complete outline summary of the poem When You Are Old by William Butler Yeats. This poem now deals, it expresses love, emotions and celebration of life. As I said that this is a poem where poet is trying to realize his beloved Mordaunt that she had committed a big mistake by rejecting the sincere love of poet here. And the first 4 lines are explaining that these 4 lines are expressing, depicting that he asked his beloved to take the book of the memories at the time of her youth, her young age, and she has to remember and what sort of things she has done, what mistakes she has done then. When you are old and grey and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down beside glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. As I said that here W.B. Yeats used, he had a time frame here, he woven very beautifully that he used future tense and present tense as well as past tense here. If you look at the first sentence itself, the beginning of the poem, the first sentence, when you are old and grey and full of sleep, it means that she is not yet old. When you are old, at the time when he was 27 years, when he wrote this, at that time he wrote that poem, when you are old, future tense, he used future tense. Mark it there in your textbook. Just these first line, he used 3 tenses here, future, present and past. The first line is in simple, it is in future tense. When you are old and grey and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book. This book itself shows that is at the time when he was writing that book, where the speaker is writing about his beloved Mordaunt. That book, the book which has full of memories, this book means again he used here present tense. And again later, and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and soft their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace. Again he is reminding her. When you read this book, you come to know that how many loved your moments of glad grace. Again he takes her back to her memory, her youthful days, in her young age. How many were loved her moments of glad grace, and again that is past tense. So here 3 tenses poet used used in this poem, and loved your beauty with love false or true. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and he makes her to realize that only poet himself had genuine love, sincere love towards his beloved, whereas others simply loved the moments of glad grace which are not permanent, whereas poet loved the pilgrim soul of her, means that it is eternal, it is immortal, which has at the same time he loved the sorrows of changing face. And in last stanza, as I said, that the tone of the poet completely changed, because it is showing the regret of poet here. So he lost someone, he lost something, a dear one in his life, and bending down beside glowing bars, murmur a little sadly. Don't talk it loudly. Murmur, talk to yourself little sadly. How love fled, how the love is no more with you. It fled. It fled somewhere which has gone far away from you, and paced, moved upon the mountains overhead, somewhere on the top of the mountain, and hid his face. And the last line, as I said, that here poet used personification, hid his face amid a crowd of stars. The other belief is also there, that when person dies, here his face amid a crowd of stars means either you can say that somewhere in the heaven, amid a crowd of stars, in the middle of stars, he hid. What has hidden? There, love hid his face amid a crowd of stars. So this is how, but William Butler, tries to realize his beloved by writing this small poem. It's a love poem which expresses, his regret, and the beginning two stanzas expresses his romance and his positivity and positiveness, and last stanza we find the changing tone. The tone completely drastically changed, and it is completely regret now. And here what happens here, throughout poem, if you see that whereas poet is trying that his love is somehow different from others, and one man's love was different from many. How poet was different from others? You find it here, how poet was different from others. He was different because whereas others loved the outer beauty of Maudgon, and how others only they loved the moments of glad grace, but poet, he himself, so he loved the pilgrim soul of his beloved, and at the same time he loved the sorrows of her changing faces. Or sorrows of changing faces means that her beauty and youth, after some times what happens, it completely disappeared, and she will get shrunk, and she is no more beautiful, but still he changed, and she started looking so differently than before, but still he loved the sorrows of changing her face. He would like to love both her glad graces and at the same time sorrows of changing faces, her ugliness, or I can say her she was not looking so attractive at then, but still he wants to love the changing sorrows of changing face, means even then she started looking differently, but still he loves her. This poem overall, this will be for 5 marks. 1 marks question will be asked on this, either 4 marks questions, but very rare they ask 6 marks question on this. So because it's only 12 lines poem, whereas if they ask outline summary of the poem, you can write for 6 marks, but rare they ask 6 marks, but they definitely it will be asked for 1 marks or 4 marks, that how a poet's love is different from others. You can easily write this. He stands, his love has his love is sincere and his love is genuine towards Maudgon, his beloved. So he tries to realize Maudgan that she had committed a mistake by rejecting his love. This is the outline summary or the complete essence of the poem When You Are Old. In next class, again come back to teach you The Gardener, a short story, beautiful short story by P. Lankesh in next class. I hope you have understood the poem When You Are Old. Thank you.